Okay, today I'm going to explain how to warp our looms. So after we've completed a design on the front side of our loom plate, we want to now flip it to the back side and pay attention to those numbers that we labeled at the beginning of this project. So we have 1 through 11 in numerical order. It looks like a clock without the 12. You should have your name and your class on the back as well. Your next step will be to pick the color of warp string that you want to use. Remember, the warp string is what gets wrapped around the loom plate and what we weave our weaving through. So I chose this color. You're also going to have a yellow sheet at your tables. This is going to give you directions, the order of those numbers for warping your loom. So these will be at each of your tables, but I'm going to show you how this works. The first step for my pattern for warping says 1 to 6. So I need a couple pieces of tape, and I'm going to tape down onto the back, and I'll be holding it on the back side while I warp here. And I'm going to tape it at number 1, and that's my starting point. Now my directions say 1 to 6 across the loom, and I see what it's going to look like. So across the loom means it's going to go in front. So from my number 1 and taking my string down to number 6, and then my next step is 6 to 7, and then it is 7 to 2, again across the loom, and then next to. You'll start to see the pattern. So after you go across the loom, it will then go right next door. So I'm at 2 to 3 right now. My next step is 3 to 8, and bring it across the loom again. If I flip it over, you can see it's starting to make a pattern on the front side. After 3 to 8, it is 8 to 9, so next door. 9 to 4, 4 to 5, and 5 to 10, and 10 to 11. All right, now when I get to 11, what I want to do is I want to flip my weaving over, and you can see that it's all kind of scattered here. I want to center that, so I'm still holding it through my number 11. I want to pull my string across my loom here, and I'm going to straighten it out. So I'm pulling it all the way across, directly across from my number 11. I'm actually going to loop it underneath all of my strings, and I'm going to pull it back towards number 11, and you'll see that that will center my warp string. So I'm going to do that one more time. Pull it out again. Okay, so right now it is not centered. I want to pull my string all the way across, and I tend to take my hand and lift underneath all the strings and grab it and tuck it underneath and pull it back towards my number 11, towards me here at the bottom of my plate. And that centers my warp string a little bit better. Might not be perfect. I'm pulling it towards number 11. If you want to pull it to a different number, like I think actually for this, if it's more centered over here, if you want to pull it more towards a different number, wherever it will look the most centered. So that looks pretty good right there. Then I will need my second piece of tape, and so I have tape at 1, and I'm going to have tape at 11, and I'm going to tape it onto the back. Then I might have some extra warp string, and you might have some extra warp string as well. I can go ahead and cut that off so that I don't have it hanging off and it's not a distraction from my weaving. And my weaving is warped.